Nativity displays are villages. In fact, the very first villages. In this video, I'm going to show you how I set up nativity scenes. Before we begin, just know that nativity sets are all different. Size, theme, characters, colors, non-traditional, materials. How you set up your own scene depends on the set that you choose to use. We'll go over all of the steps, but if at any time we go over something you don't have, just skip over it. Step 1. Identify a structure that your scene will rest on. For this demonstration, I'm setting up the nativity scene on an adjustable table. Step 2. Here's where you would add a background if you have one, like a night sky, a desert scene, or maybe a Holy Land city scene. Maybe a star hanging on the wall. I don't have a background since this is in the middle of the room, so I'll skip over that. Step 3. Apply your base. This is what your pieces will sit on. It's a protective layer between your structure and your village pieces. You could have a landform, like a hill or something like moss, cork sheet, or fabric. For this scene, I'm using a purple tablecloth. Step 4. Electricity. If you need to run any kind of cords to light up a star or angels, prep for those cords now. I don't have any electricity, so I'll skip over this. If you do need electricity, make sure that you have access to a plug and also that the cords can run safely through or over or under your base. Step 5. Set up the stable if you've got one. You can also add other buildings to your scene now. And you'll also want to hook up to the electricity at this point. Step 6. Add in pathways like roads, bridges, walls. Our set came with a cork board, so we'll add that in now. Step 7 is people. We'll start with the manger, the main item in the nativity scene. You'll want to make baby Jesus front and center in the stable. You can have the manger facing you head on or slightly angled. If you have a stable with a roof, sometimes they can get pretty dark and shadowy without any internal lights. I always bring the characters out from under the roof. Since the baby is the central figure in the scene, as you begin adding more people or animals to the stable, be mindful of 3 things: head tilts, chest, and/or gaze. So turn each character so that they are looking at the manger, or at least in that general direction. We're going to do this with Mary, the next figure. I usually will put Joseph on the opposite side of Mary. Try to position the Holy Family in a triangle. If your space doesn't really allow for that, position Joseph slightly behind Mary in a line, like this. Next come the shepherds. We have only one with this set. I'll put the figure here, but I'll wait till all the other characters are out before adding any of the sheep that might accompany him. Next come the kings. This is actually the order of events in the Christmas story. It's best to set any standing kings first, followed by seated or kneeling kings. And I'm trying to get the eyes, head, or posture towards the manger. Next, now you'll add in your animals. Animals do add that stable feel to the scene, but more importantly, use animals to balance out and fill gaps. In this scene, my right side is a little heavy with 2 kings and a shepherd. I'll use the animals to help balance out the activity and also the color. When adding animals, I place their heads in any gaps between people, filling in empty spaces. Since the sheep are looking to the right, I am placing them on the left side so that they're looking towards the manger. The white is offsetting the white of the other sheep that the shepherd is holding. Trees come next, but I don't have any with this set. Next comes additional smaller accessories. You may or may not want to add things like a well or basket or flasks. Whatever additions you have, add them now, always keeping balance in mind. Have you noticed that I'm constantly adjusting positions? It's okay to do this throughout the process. I just can't help myself. Once the scene is complete, now comes for some last-minute finishing touches. I usually will step away from the scene and see what it looks like from a distance, since I've been up close and personal with it this whole process. I notice that I have some empty cork spots. I'll maybe need to add some extra moss, maybe fluff it up a little bit more. I'll also need to get the lint roller out to pick up some of the dust that accrued on my tablecloth. And those are my steps to setting up a traditional nativity scene. When you're making your own, feel free to incorporate your own vision and your own style. Merry Christmas to you and all of those you hold dear. Peace and goodwill toward men, and happy villaging.